Alright everyone, welcome back to another video. Glad to see you again. I have done a lot of wondering over the past few weeks over what the next video should be, and I think that I've come to a conclusion. Because a lot of times when I'm playing, you guys know I'm main ground, I've figured out some things that I don't see a lot of players doing. When I say a lot, I mean a lot. And probably, I guess, more so the average War Thunder player doesn't use any of these mechanics that we're going to talk about, or probably even know about them. So I really want to take this time right now that a lot of these players are not using these mechanics and should be, and it's really costing them matches, their teammates matches. If you want to get, more kills, if you want to get better teamwork going on, more synergy, and not die as much, let's go ahead and talk about some mechanics that I think are not being used in this video right now. We're going to talk about 5 War Thunder ground mechanics that you're not using, but you 100% should be. This may become a series, I'm not sure, because there's millions of mechanics you can probably talk about. So if you guys want to see more, make sure to drop down below. Let's go ahead and get into it. So the first thing that I want to talk about in regards to some mechanics that I don't see a lot of players using in War Thunder, specifically ground, is that you need to learn how to mark enemies on the map. If you're on PC, this is mainly going to be for PC, not console, because I don't know the keybinds for, console. I do not know the keybinds for console, so this will mainly be for PC. I'm not sure if it'll be like X, A, or whatever you have to like open your map and mark stuff. So this is mainly going to be for PC. If you're on console, you'll just have to, you'll know what I'm referring to in regards to open your map. I'm sure you should know. If not, you may have to figure that out, because again, I don't play on console, so I'm sorry. You need to make sure you're marking enemies on the map. Marking your enemies on the map can be a wild difference in regards to how your team can approach a certain battle or a certain point, because if you know someone's in this general area, I don't mean in a freaking grid square, like a giant grid square. Like, don't say, hey, there's someone in C2. That doesn't particularly help unless it's like someone's in the top left corner of the map type stuff. So what you want to do is open your map if you see someone and ping that area. Now, even if you ping it, they could move, but it lets your team know, hey, I saw someone here. That way they can, okay, I see someone over there, or someone might be in that area. It could either be a plane, it could be a helicopter, it could be a tank. Just ping it, because when people see that on the map, it says, hey, attention to this area. Something's going on. That way they can have in the back of their mind, or even the front of their mind, something's going on over here. Let me make sure to look over there, or let me hold my position a little bit, see if there's anybody flanking or something like that. Because the amount of times I see players holding a corner but not pinging or anything, or there's someone off in the distance that no one is pinged, I'll go ahead and ping it, of course. But that's something that you all should be doing, because I'm telling you, when you start doing that, you'll see your teammates start paying attention more. Not a lot, but a lot more than they would if they didn't know someone was there. Like, if you're holding a corner and you know someone's watching it, ping where that person is to say, hey, someone's around this corner. Now, if someone decides to go around the corner and blow up, then I guess that's a free peek for you and you can shoot somebody. But again, pinging someone on the map is insanely good and insanely helpful for your teammates. It's very good to have that awareness, because there's no markers. If you see someone off the distance, this isn't arcade where, oh, it marks everyone has a username. No, this is, you see a shadow off in the distance. So make sure you pay attention to doing that, so that way you can have your teammates help you. And if you have a light tank, you can scout vehicles, which not only gives you an extra reward if somebody dies that you scouted, but it continuously pings where that person is with a little red eyeball. If I'm not mistaken, it's like 15 to 30 seconds. So make sure to pay attention to that. If you do have the ability to scout stuff, which will look like a little binocular, that is amazing to do. You can get a lot of RP, you can get a lot of spawn points from that, and you get a lot of assists from doing that. So make sure that if you have that, you are spamming that as much as you can. Now, if you do miss the scout, it can like ruin that, because you have to wait like, I think like a minute or two before you can scout another thing. So make sure to do that. You can also scout stuff through walls. So if you see someone behind a wall, you can still scout them, and again, it'll pop up with the red eyeball, and it'll move every few seconds if the player's moving. That way it'll track them. So make sure that you're marking players, make sure that you're scouting them. That way you can help yourself and your team. Now, the second mechanic that I want to talk about is marking enemies with machine gun fire. I do not see a lot of people doing this. I do see some, but not a lot. And it is insanely effective to do it. Now, the difference between marking on the map or scouting and using machine gun fire is when you mark someone with a scout, again, there is a mark, like a little red eyeball. When you mark someone on the map, it's just a ping and like a circle and a blue exclamation point. If you're like, I don't know if you have your colorblind settings on, some of you may have different colors, but it does mark them that way. But when you mark someone with machine gun fire, when you pay attention to it on your screen, it'll have 2 arrows pointed down where the enemy is. Like if you shoot them, you don't even have to hit them. So if someone's behind a corner and you shoot the MG, it'll mark them behind that corner. You don't have to directly hit them, you just have to hit near them. So that way, again, it'll mark them and say, hey, someone's on this spot right here. That way, if you don't have a scout, you're not out of luck. Now, it won't stay as long as a scout, and if I'm not mistaken, it doesn't track like a scout does. You can still shoot around a corner or shoot at a corner, so that way the person behind it gets marked and let your team know, hey, someone's on this spot of the map. And if I'm not mistaken, it should mark them on the map as well for your team. Again, it's not as long, doesn't track like a scout does, but it's very helpful to do that. So you can even double up with the first tip, shoot someone with your MG, mark them, and then click that spot on the map as well. You can MG bushes, you can MG through smokes, you can MG ridge lines, so that way if you don't have a direct visual ID, you can shoot through that area and try to get a mark. You do want to be careful about that because it is a double-bladed sword where while you're shooting to mark them, you're also giving up your location, so make sure not to be sitting still just spamming it through a smoke because then they know exactly where you're at. So make sure to do that. It's also a great way if you're not playing with teammates, it's a non-verbal way to say, hey, someone's right here. There's a person there. You can also bait enemies to fire. Now, I'm not gonna lie, if somebody MGs you and you peek the corner because you thought they main gun, that's just, I don't know, man, but it could happen. You could do it. You never know. It's better to try and it, work than not trying when it didn't work or whatever. I don't know. Definitely do that. It 100% helps marking your team so that way they can figure out where somebody is. You can remember where they're at and things of that nature because, again, you don't have to directly hit them for it to work, which is why it's such a useful thing. And you have so many, unless you're like a Russian tank with like was it like Dishka or something like that has like 5 bullets in it. If you're using 50 cals or whatever, you have so much ammo, which means you have like unlimited times where you can like mark someone that way. So it's really, really, really useful to do that. Not effective at range since the bullets drop off. Close to medium range, very effective. Now the third thing that we're going to talk about, which I would say is probably the best in this whole tier list to me personally, is that you need to use the quick commands to give instructions. I'm not trying to sound like a weird, slapping my hands while I say it like I have an attitude, but the amount of times I don't see somebody either use the air alert or use help me repair or attack the A point, attack the B point, things like that it costs so many games. I promise you it does. Using things like I just mentioned where you tell someone to attack a point, hey, attention over here, hey, cover me, hey, I need backup. All those things are very, and saying sorry, say sorry to people as well. If you cut them off or you do something stupid, you better say sorry by using a quick command because I promise you, if you don't say sorry, I'm gonna freak out. It is very helpful to do those things because if you, say you clear a point, right? Say you bomb the A point and no one's on it and you see people that are kind of hovering around waiting, you can say attack the A point and they may say, okay, plane just flew over, they use their brain, which I know is very like, whoa, people got brains in War Thunder. If you do that, it helps them say, okay, he just blew somebody up on the A point, A must be clear, and then if you say that and it's not clear, then that's just unfortunate. But using things like that is very effective because games can be really dictated by somebody who's using those commands to notify, hey, anti-air, there's a plane up, hey, we need to attack the A point or attack the B point, or even defend the A point or the B point or the C point. Things like that are very good because a lot of the times when you're playing, everyone's kind of off doing their own thing. There's no rhyme or reason. So when you're doing these things, it kind of helps organize your team a little bit. And there's plenty of times where people will say affirmative or yes or things like that to kind of help boost the morale for the team as well. When you're like, hey, attack to A point, people are like, affirmative, I'm going. Having that communication definitely will increase your win rate, your SL rate, your freaking RP. It'll increase and it'll make you have more fun because you're communicating with your team, they're listening, which obviously doesn't happen all the time, but it'll make you feel a lot better when you're doing call outs or if someone else on your team is. That way we can figure out what's going on and what we should be doing. So make sure that you're using your quick commands, which you just hit. If I'm not mistaken, mine is at least the default. You click T, and then it pops up with all the things that you need to do, like say thank you, sorry, air, whatever. There's plenty of things you can do. So make sure that you're using that to the best of your ability. Now, don't spam it. People don't like when you spam it. It gets very annoying when you spam it. People will probably disable your radio, and then you're screwed if you're like the boy who cried wolf thing. So don't spam it. Make sure to just use it reasonably, and then people will probably thank you for it. Now, another mechanic that I would probably say this one is maybe more of a upper echelon type thing because not a lot of people know about it, is overpressure. It works very well with like HE rounds and heat rounds that can literally decimate tanks when you don't even see the tank like at all. You can literally see a freaking speck of hair on the tank and hit it and overpressure it, which we all hate dying to that. It's in the game, you got to use it, right? So it's very, very effective when you're using a big HE round. That's why some people, even when I'm streaming, come in and say, hey, why don't you bring, I don't use it because I suck at it, but I know it's very effective when you're playing like artillery tanks and stuff like that. That's how you usually get a lot of kills, is you're overpressuring other tanks. So what you want to do is aim for places like the turret roof or the whole floor, For like, I mean, really, if it's a light vehicle, you can just point and click at it and just blow it up. Or even SPAs or tank destroyers, usually if they're lightly armored, you can just point them and blow them up, and it'll instantly blow them up because it's overpressure. If it's like heavy tanks or medium tanks, you can aim for like their coupon. I'm not even streaming and I said that. You can aim for their cupola on the top, or like an MG on their top. That way you can overpressure them. It's really good against tigers because their turret is a little farther back and they have that flat spot on their hull. You can do the same thing with the mouse, things of that nature. If you aim for their turret cheeks, it'll blow up right above where their crew is, so it'll overpressure them. So it's very, very effective to bring HE if you like to in medium tanks or things like that. I mean, this is obviously for howitzer, but you can only bring HE, so there's no point in saying use that mechanic, which is the only mechanic you can use even if you don't know about it. So you can bring a few extra HE rounds because you don't overpen with that. You may ricochet, which is really, really weird when it happens, but it's not like you're gonna overpen somebody with an HE round. So make sure if you want to try to have the overpressure mechanic as an option, say if somebody's peeking behind a hill but you can see their cupola or their MG, you can shoot that with a HE round and you could overpressure them when they're behind something. So mechanics like that are very, very, very helpful when you're trying to kill somebody that's playing like a little rat, or they're hiding. It's not even a rat, because I mean, if I'm hiding behind someone, I see you, I'm not just gonna peek and give you a free kill. Make sure that you have a few extra HE shells or heat FS rounds or heat rounds if you would like to try to use that to your advantage, because overpressure is a very good mechanic to use when somebody's hiding behind a corner or a building or something like that and you would like to, you know, get them to peek out. Plus, you can splash damage people. So if there's a light tank, even if you miss, you can sometimes still kill them if you hit like underneath them or you hit the wall next to them. So things like that are very, very effective if you would like to use and abuse that mechanic. Now, the last tip that I'm going to talk about for this video is going to be using your tow hook. I don't see a lot of people using it. I see a lot of people that get shot and they're stuck out in the open and they just sit there and they're like, well, guess I'm dead. I did what I could do. Let me just sit here and die. Like, no. If you get shot and you see somebody behind you, pop your tow hook on. And the person behind you, if you are the person behind the person getting shot, throw your tow hook on them. Back them up. If they do have a loss of an engine or transmission or track, it can be a lot harder to move them. It'll save you a lot of time from dying. That may be your nuke game, you know what I mean? That could be, it's little things like that, using these tiny mechanics that can really change the entire output of the game. So if someone, even if they're flipped over, you can flip them back over if you attach to their track and flip them over. It can be a lot harder using a tow hook if you're in a light tank. So usually if I'm in a light tank, I won't even bother. I sometimes will, so that way they know I tried. But using a light tank to move like medium tanks is almost impossible, even sometimes with anti-air, since they're not only a light tank in regards to armor, but they don't have the strongest engines. So usually heavy tanks and medium tanks are a lot better for that. Some tank destroyers, because they have stronger engines and stronger weight. So when they pull, it does more pulling rather than them pulling you if you're in a light tank. Now, what you can also do with the tow hook is you can tow dead tanks, like exploded tanks that are just sitting there, since you all know that they don't disappear. You can literally tow hook onto a dead tank and move it. So say there's a point that you want to capture, but there's no cover, drag a dead tank near the point onto the point and you can hide behind it. Now at the higher BRs with, like, you know, dart rounds, I think you can kind of do a Sabo too. It's just a little bit more because of the pin. People still can shoot through dead tanks. When they do that, it loses a lot of energy and it loses a lot of pin. Like, you can shoot through, it's a little different, I would say, with like, you all know you can shoot through containers. Those are a lot thinner, I would say, than like a medium tank carcass. I don't even know if you can call it a carcass. What would you call that? Not a carcass, because it's not an animal. I don't know. Drop in the comments what you'd call it. A medium tank. Can't say body. I don't know. Whatever. You know what I mean. You would want to drag them so that way you can hide behind it. But when you shoot through that, there's a lot more armor there. So when the round hits it, while it can pen through it, it loses a lot of the pen and energy that's built up because it's already hitting one target. And then, I mean, you know, you can overpen tanks. But again, when you go through the first tank, your round has lost exponentially a lot of pen and a lot of energy. So it's definitely good to have it, but it's not a surefire way like, I'm hiding behind a tank, you can't shoot me, and then you get shot, and then you comment on the video, Panda, your tips suck, I died through the tank. It can happen, so make sure it's not an end all be all, but you can tow dead tanks and use them as armor, which is amazing. All right, so we have made it to the end of the list here. I hope these tips found you guys well. Again, this is gonna probably be a series that I continue dropping about 5 tips per video, so I can, as you saw earlier in the video, I used examples so that way you guys could see, like, I went into a custom game and had some help from my friends. That way I could show you guys what it would look like trying to do the things that we're talking about. I know it's not, you know, in-game footage, but I figured it'd be better to show you the perfect idea of how it should work, so that when you try to apply it in a real game, you know, and you've seen what it should look like, so that way you can try. I'm gonna go ahead and put on screen right now the 5 things we did talk about, which is marking enemies on the map, marking enemies with machine gun fire, using the quick commands to give instructions, overpressure damage, and using a tow hook. Again, I'm probably gonna make this a series, so we're gonna have another one soon with another 5. I might flip-flop between air or naval or whatever. It's probably not gonna be naval, but I'm gonna just try to release some of these so that way you guys can try to get better and level up your gameplay. By no means am I, you know, goated at the game, goated with the sauce. I just play so much that I see things that I think you guys could apply to your gameplay that would help you level up a lot better and have more fun playing the game, which I know is hard if you're playing War Thunder, but hope these tips found you guys well. Let's go ahead and get into the outro. All right, and we have come to the end of another video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Firstly, I want to give a shout out to Crunchy, Metals, and Random. Those were the people you saw in the examples that I threw up on screen. That way you guys could know what we're talking about and see it, so that way I'm not only telling you what you should be doing or what we're, you know, talking about in regards to the tips, but you can see it on your screen at the same time, so that way it can help you visualize it. But I want to say thank you to each one of them for helping me in a custom match, because they took time out of their day to help this video. So make sure to drop a comment down below saying thanks Crunchy, Metals, and Random, because without them, would not have been able to have those on screen. Would have been a lot harder to get those clips. Probably going to use them again in the future as well. And if you want to be, you know, in the next video, go ahead and drop a comment, or you can just join the Discord and let me know. If you're able to help at that time, we can throw you in there. I also want to say, if you have any tips that I left out or that you want to see in another video, like in the future, say, hey, I don't see people doing this. Can you talk about this? I'll definitely screenshot you and credit you in the next video, so that way everyone knows. I'm like, hey, Crunchy Apple TV commented people should do this, and then I'll put that in the video, and then I'll talk about it to the best of my ability. So hope you guys really enjoyed this video. On another note, to be quick, we also have some merch. If you'd like to cop some merch, feel very welcome to do so. But even if you don't want to cop it, that's okay. Just go ahead and peep the store. Link in the description down below. Just peep the store. Let me know if you guys like anything and what you want to see in the future. This is the first drop of the summer, the Favored and Blessed bundle. I do have stuff coming out later as well, more summer items, so stay tuned for that. I really hope you guys enjoy. Again, even if you don't buy anything, just peep it. Let me know what you think about it, so that way I can always improve on what I'm trying to release for you guys. But without further ado, hope y'all enjoyed this video. Hope y'all stay safe, stay blessed, and I love you guys very much, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace! Join the Discord right now. Also, don't forget to sub, because we're close to 1,000. Let's see ya.